Boy, oh boy, you thought that the government was against crypto regulations and doing everything, even dystopian, to stop it from growing? Man, it only gets a lot worse. I'm going to explain to you the terrifying circumstances that has been happening for the past couple of years and what we can do about it, if anything. What's going on, y'all? You're now watching the greatest channel that has ever existed. You're now watching Bitcoin Benito, and I truly appreciate you guys for being here with me. So today we're going to talk about something called debanking, something similar to it called regulatory capture. It's when the government uses some nefarious ways to stop their political rivalries or anyone that disagrees with them. You can be a regular citizen, you can be a civilian, you have a company, and you don't do anything illegal, you don't do anything wrong, but they still have the ability to take your bank away from you and every other bank in America away from you that you cannot use. You're going to have to just use cash for everything. You have to use cash to pay your rent. You have to use cash to buy your cars. You can't do anything at all. And it's so shocking and ridiculous, especially since you can't do anything to appeal it. You can't do anything to stop it. If you get on the government's nerves, they will do this against you. And it has been going on for years, and I'm stunned no one has been talking about it. We're going to talk about it in detail with evidence, and it's absolutely shocking. And this is going to cause shockwaves in the next couple of years. And I don't even know what to say. I can't even, my train of thought is all over the place. But before we get into that, I want to read some of the comments from my subscribers. Really appreciate you guys for sticking with me. My channel might not be here that much longer after I expose what's been going on. And it's actually from a Joe Rogan Experience podcast with a famous venture capitalist named 𝐂𝐫𝐲𝐸. His venture capitalism is really based into startups. He does venture capital, and he does seed funding, angel funding into a lot of crypto startups too. So that's really why I'm talking about this on this channel. But yes, let's read the first comment. First comment is from 𝐿uminarZen that says, I'm not gambling. Like I always say, cryptocurrency is not gambling. Cryptocurrency is educated investments. Okay. And if you want to call cryptocurrency gambling, then buying a house and renting it out is also a gamble, because if you buy a house and you rent it out and your mortgage is only $900, but you make $1,200, right? That could be a gamble, right? You are gambling that you're going to make $300 profit. But what if your tenant decides to leave? Then you decide to not make money. You're going to have to continue to make those mortgage payments, even though you don't have any tenants. Isn't that called gambling? But yet all of us live in houses. All of us, anyone that lives in an apartment is paying rent to someone that's gambling on you paying that rent. But normal people just call it investing. Okay. Same thing. You can gamble in Tesla. You can gamble in Nvidia, right? But if you're intelligent, you know that these companies are going to continue to grow for the foreseeable future. So is it really gambling, or is it an intelligent investment? Yes, it's not going to work 100% of the time, but investing in Tesla and Nvidia for the short term and even the long term is going to work 90% of the time. So it's not gambling. Okay. Come on now. Stop being afraid of taking chances. If you're afraid to take chances, you're never going to achieve anything great in life. Next comment that we have is from Samuel Gorilla. Sorry. What happened to Enchita? He deleted his channel. Yes, I did a stream with him about 2 years ago. He was a crypto guy. He was making a lot of videos. He was doing a lot of self-improvement about his health, about his investments, about getting money. But for some reason, his channel disappeared. So if anyone knows what his new channel is, or if he still has a channel, please come back to me, leave it down in the comments. And in fact, if you like these interviews, type below in the comments the word interview. Okay. And I will then shout you out in the next comments, and we'll go from there. Really appreciate you guys. Love all that you're doing to support this channel. Next comment that we have is from 𝐿𝐺𝐻𝐵 Wozniak. Thank you again for leave it in comments. The name of this channel is Nakamoto Crypto. That's what he's asking. Follow him on YouTube. Just type in Nakamoto Crypto. You should be able to find it. That should be like the first or second comment that pops up. Next comment is from John XR. He says, TitanX. Woo! TitanX is exploding. Yes, it is. TitanX is actually, look at this. TitanX the past 7 days has gone up 30%. And in the past 2 weeks, it's gone up 57%. See? Bitcoin Benito is always right. Although, unfortunately, it's been down about 20% in the last month. But don't worry, it's only going to go up, right? In the past month, yeah, you can see it's gone down a lot, but it's shot up 50% in like the last 2 weeks. And it's only going to continue to grow. It has reached its all-time low a few months ago, and it's only going to continue to grow from now on. It's always TitanX tends to do the opposite of what Bitcoin does. So Bitcoin has been consolidating a little bit. It was at $99,000 and now it's around 92, 93,000. So now TitanX is shooting up 30, 40, 50% a day. So yeah, it's going to continue to do good. Just be patient. This is why you need to diversify. Diversify into all the coins that I tell you to diversify in, okay? Look at my other channels. And another coin that I'm going to diversify in is called 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿. 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿 is based off of this, I guess you would say, right of center type ideal of what a wife is, of what a girlfriend is, of a woman that's, you know, beautiful and she wants to start a family and she likes taking care of her husband and she's a loving woman. You know, what people used to call a good woman, but nowadays people call it slavery for some reason. Wanting to take care of your wife and being with a woman that you love and loving on her and her taking care of your kids and you having a loving family is seen as an evil thing now. I don't know what's going on with America, but whatever. This too shall pass. Okay. If you want to see the website, 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿.com. This is the name of the website. It's a meme coin, right? So meme coins are a little bit dangerous. So I am going to invest in this, but meme coins are a little bit dangerous because they are heavily based on the fact that it is based off of just trends. So this is the trend right now. 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿. It's really popular right now. The explosion in the price. Look at this explosion. Look at this explosion in the price. Look at this. Look at this. It in the past 30 days has gone up 2,023%. Just today alone is gone up 61%. This is absolutely ludicrous. Now, 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿 has been around for about 7-8 months. Started off about 1/10 of 1 penny, and now the price is 1 penny. So it's done a 10x over its lifetime. But it started off 1/10 of 1 penny. It went down a lot, right? Its all-time low was what is that? 1/1000th of a penny. Okay, and this was 2 months ago. So 2 months ago, it was 1/1000th of a penny. The price has now shot up unbelievably, and it's gone up about 2,000%. Like I said, so get into this meme coin. You need to watch it carefully because it's going to shoot up like it's shooting up right now. This is just crazy. Look at this price. Look at the price in the last day. Just today, look at the last week has gone up. Today has gone up incredibly. It's going to continue to shoot up, but it might crash down. It's going to go up and down like all the cryptos, but it might crash dramatically. So be very careful with that. Okay. This is the 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿 website. Click on me. You can do little fun things. You can change your face. You can make her pretty, regular. You can change your outfit. Ooh, sexy. You can even go down here and make it multiple large. What do we download here? Oh, it's a video that shows the games and how to play with it. And click all the buttons, most of them or some of them. Do things that you like. Okay, so it's like one of those games that your little niece will play. Where you can change her face, give her princess things, all that stuff. It's a meme coin, so it's really based on nothing. But at least this has something, right? Unlike Pepe. And unlike Dogecoin, which does literally nothing for nothing at all, and in fact, on his website, it says that it does nothing for nothing. At least with 𝘊𝘳𝐺𝐿, he has a little game that you can play. You can have the information about it coming soon. You can have a wardrobe. It has games that's coming into it. You can follow their Twitter. Let me try to follow their Twitter right now. Okay, it's a really cool coin. I'm gonna do an in-depth analysis of this cryptocurrency. In fact, let me do this right here. Let me switch my channel to, okay, so this is Bitcoin Benito. Follow Bitcoin Benito. Do the smart thing. So I'm going to follow her page. This is the contract address. Make sure that you get the right thing. Going to make a video about it. Going to go into detail about it. This is really cool. This is from the movie Belly, I think. Or, oh no, this is from The Wire, actually. A scene from The Wire. So a lot of jokes. Oh, this is from Warhammer 40,000. Video game stuff. So it's a lot of cool memes that's into this. Even the artwork, like this is actually really cool artwork. Okay. So let's look into how terrifying this debanking thing is. Let's look how terrifying this regulatory capture thing is right now. We have a tweet from Austin Alred. Follow him right now. He's talking about the entirety of the Joe Rogan, Mark Andreessen podcast is fascinating, but please listen to this part. Yes, this is a 9-minute video. I'm going to be stopping it halfway in and out, skipping some parts. I'm going to make it a little bit faster because although try to hear him, he talks really fast, but I'm trying to get through this video. If I don't try to get through this video quickly, this video can go on for 45 minutes. Okay. So he talks about the abuse of power within unaccountable and arguably unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. Federal agencies has become so extreme. The stories are almost unbelievable. This is really unbelievable. Let's listen to the first minute or so of what he says.
Elon explained that there's more agencies than there have been years of the United States.
Correct. Yeah, 450 federal agencies and 2 new ones a year. And then my favorite twist is we have this thing called independent federal agencies. So like, for example, we have this thing called the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, CFPB, which is this sort of Elizabeth Warren's personal agency that she gets to control. And it's an independent agency that just gets to run and do whatever it wants, right? And if you read the Constitution, like there is no such thing as an independent agency, and yet there it is.
What does her agency do?
Whatever she wants.
What does it do, though?
Basically, terrorize financial institutions, prevent new competition, new startups that want to compete with the big banks.
Really?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
How so?
So, yeah, before he explains how so, yes, what she's doing right now is that she has a privatized individualized agency that she gets to control to use to stop banks or any other individuals that disagree with her own opinions. Keep in mind, they don't do anything illegal. Initially, it was created to handle people that do illegal things, and you would just stop them from using banks the same way you would stop Iran from using Western banks or American banks if they don't follow the laws, don't follow international laws. If they attack their citizens, we would take away their banks. We would put sanctions on them from letting them use transactions, from using their regular transactions infrastructure called SWIFT. By the way, this is not SWIFT as in Swift coin or SWIFT as in the Apple coding language. I'm showing my nerd abilities right now. You would be able to do this, but now it started then, but now it has expanded dramatically where if they don't like you, they will just decide to cancel all of your bank accounts and make you a pariah. This is crazy. Let's read some more. Let's hear some more. I mean,
just terrorizing anybody who tries to do anything new in financial services. And
Can you give me an example?
Well, I guess, debanking. This is where a lot of the debanking comes from, is these agencies. So debanking is when you as either a person or your company are literally kicked out of the banking system.
Like they did to Kanye.
Exactly, like they did to Kanye. My partner Ben's father has been debanked.
Really?
We had an employee.
For what?
For having the wrong politics.
So they debank you for having the wrong politics, for disagreeing with the politics. So this is the same thing that they did to Kanye West, because he said some things against Jewish people. Of course, what he said is racist, is wrong, but what he said is not illegal. And I thought that the First Amendment was the First Amendment because you can say things that people don't like, but it's your opinion. And as long as you're not doing anything dangerous, as long as you're not calling for violence, as long as you're not causing mayhem, like saying that there's a fire in a movie theater, it should be allowed to happen, right? But because they just don't like what you say, they can do something called debanking you. They also did the same thing to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has been found not guilty recently, but because he had allegations against him and because Andrew Tate was saying that negative things about feminism, and he was very forceful, and he was saying that masculinity needs to be strong, which, by the way, it does need to be strong. I'm not saying Andrew Tate, like usual, I say everything is nuanced. I'm not saying Andrew Tate is the perfect human being. He has some things that I disagree with, but like 90% of the stuff that he says is actually true. If you actually watch one of his videos, he says that he purposefully says things that he knows that people will become angry about, right? So what Andrew Tate does, and I want you, I implore you, go watch his videos and go watch them for 10 minutes. Go watch his videos for 10 minutes straight. I guarantee you, you're going to agree with 90% of what he says. I guarantee you. Now, if this sounds shocking, that's because you haven't watched 10 minutes of his videos. Watch a unedited 10-minute clip of his video and you'll be like, you know what? That makes sense. What Andrew Tate does, and he even said that he does this, is that instead of him saying that, what he'll say is that, oh yeah, man, women are weak as fuck, man. They're weak as shit. Men are so strong. And he'll say that what he actually means is that over the balance of probabilities, the average muscular strength of a man is about 20% stronger than that of a woman. But because he likes to say things in a tiny nefarious way, in a bombastic way, because he wants to gain more viewers and he wants to have more people come to his school, he'll say something that's true, but he'll say it in a kind of negative way. And because he said these things that are, not only are they true, he will say things that are also constitutionally allowed to say, because, you know, freedom of speech. He's a U.S. citizen, by the way, even though he has a weird British Nigerian American. I don't know what type of accent he has, right? But he says things that are 100% allowed. But they tried to stop him, so they created these false accusations against him. They threw him in jail. They didn't charge him with anything. Even the things that they charged him, really, like his brother has never been charged for a crime, by the way. His brother has never been charged for a crime for anything. And they haven't been found any evidence, so he's been recently released. But because they don't like you, they have decided to debank him. And they even did worse with him. They all decided to cancel his social media accounts, TikToks, his Instagram, his YouTube channels have all been deleted. They were all deleted. And they never gave him a reason why they deleted this. This is the crazy part. If they decide to erase you, they're going to erase you. And they don't have to give you a reason. They can just hate you and decide to erase you. Okay. And I can understand that, although it's totally messed up if Twitter does this, or if, well, Twitter doesn't do it anymore because Elon Musk is now in control. I can understand if like you're a private company and you hate people, you hate certain people. Okay, fine. You're a private company. You can do whatever you want. But for the government to do this, it's crazy. Now, why is the government even allowed to do this? I thought we have freedom of speech. I thought that's the First Amendment, right? Well, he's going to go into this. Let's listen to more.
Saying unacceptable things under current banking regulations. Here's a great thing. Under current banking regulations, after all the reforms of the last 20 years, there's now a category called a politically exposed person, PEP. And if you are a PEP, you are required by financial regulators to kick them off of your to kick them out of your bank.
What?
You're not allowed to
What if you're politically on the left?
Well, that's fine.
No,
because they're not politically exposed.
So no one on the left gets debanked.
I have not heard of a single instance of anybody on the left getting debanked.
Can you tell me what?
This would be evil if it's happening to all as citizens that they don't like. But the fact that they're just doing it to people on the right, it's just so nefarious. It's just so wrong. It's just so un-American, right? You don't use the law or nefarious actions or, frankly, illegal actions just to go against people that disagree with you. Me, I am a regular liberal. I am a normal liberal. I am a liberal from 10 years ago before the Democratic Party lost its fucking mind. And if you're a Democrat and you don't think that they lost its fucking mind, you're part of the problem. Democrats have definitely lost their mind in the past 10 years. I'm definitely a liberal person from like 10 years ago, a regular, normal, human liberal person. But now that they've changed and lost their mind, you're not allowed to disagree with them. If they did this to both Democrats and Republicans, I'll be like, man, this is really fucked up. But all right, fine. Maybe they just drunk with power. But the fact that they're doing this for political reasons is even twice as bad. This is crazy.
The person that you know did what they said that got them debanked?
Oh, well, I mean, David Horowitz is a right wing. He's pro-Trump. I mean, he said all kinds of things. He's been very anti-Islamic terrorism. He's been very worried about migration, all these things.
And they debanked him for that.
Yeah, they debanked him. So you get kicked out of your bank account. You get kicked out of you can't do credit card transactions. But by the way, you can't.
How is that legal?
Well, exactly. So this is the thing. And then you go to this thing of like, well, this is where the government and the companies get intertwined.
It's probably not legal. There's going to be so many negative ramifications for these people that did it, but they deserve it for being pretty much criminals.
Back to your fascism point, which is there's a constitutional amendment that says the government can't restrict your speech, but there's no constitutional amendment that says the government can't debank you.
There you go. So there's no constitutional law that says the government cannot debank you. Although there is, if you look at the spirit of the law, and this is when it goes through court in the next 5, 10 years or whatever, they're going to be sued, or maybe they might even be thrown in jail. Although people higher up hardly ever go to jail unless you do something completely evil, nefarious. They're probably just going to be fined a lot. But there's no law that says that you can't be debanked, because technically banks are private institutions, even though they're heavily involved and intertwined with the government. So this is just pure craziness. This is wild. And the main reason why it's wild is that, okay, yes, let's say that you're a Democrat and you're 100% on the Kamala camp. You're 100% with Elizabeth Warren. And they're doing this to your enemies, or they're doing this to people that you don't like. Okay, fine. You like it now. But what if a Republican comes and does the same exact thing? Are you going to like it then? Right? The same thing with free speech. What if someone says that, oh yeah, you're not allowed to talk about, you're a Democrat and you support abortions, you're pro-life. I'm pro-life, by the way. This isn't right. The fact that I'm pro-life, but yet I can see how crazy the Democrats have become recently. I'm talking about the Democratic Party has become recently. It's insane. What if they come through and say, oh yeah, you're not allowed to talk about abortion anymore. And if you talk about abortion and if you try to support abortion, we are going to debank you. You're not going to allow to have any banks ever in any American institution, no American banks for the rest of your life. And we'll give you your bank back, maybe, if you feel like it. This is crazy.
Right. And so if they can't do the one thing, then they do the other thing. And then they don't have to debank you. They just have to put pressure on the private company banks to do it. And then the private company banks do it because they're expected to. But the government gets to say, we didn't do it. It was the private company that did it. And of course, JP Morgan can decide who they want to have as customers, of course, right? Because they're a private company. And so it's this sleight of hand that happens. So it's basically, it's a privatized sanctions regime that lets bureaucrats do to American citizens the same thing that we do to Iran.
Whoa.
Just kick you out of the financial system. And so
That's why I said they're doing this to private citizens that didn't do anything wrong. The same thing that they're doing to Russia. The same thing that they're doing to Iran. Russia and Iran is killing their own citizens. Russia and Iran, although Ukraine also killed Russians too as a war. So wars are different than, randomly killing citizens. But Russia's killed hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers have died in Russia too, killed by them. But we put sanctions on them to stop them. Whether you believe that the Russian war is good or not, whatever, that's besides the point. But we put sanctions on them, right? That kind of makes sense. This makes absolutely no sense at all.
This has been happening to all the crypto entrepreneurs in the last 4 years. This has been happening to a lot of the fintech entrepreneurs.
And there you go. So the thing is that Elizabeth Warren is the person that created this, or she's like spearheading these debanking measures right now. And they're heavily against a lot of crypto companies because they want to have total control of the monetary system. They want to have control of the monetary system. So they don't necessarily want to ban crypto. They just want to have crypto only benefit themselves. And crypto is amazing because it's decentralized. Crypto doesn't care if you're good or evil. Crypto doesn't care about your politicians. Crypto doesn't care if you're gay or straight, white or black, purple or green. Crypto is for everyone. And because they do not have the power to control crypto, they want to stop this. What Elizabeth Warren actually wants to do is control the crypto, only allow her people around her, the government officials that she agrees with clearly, to control crypto. Then she will become unbelievably rich with this, okay? This is the same thing with Nancy Pelosi. All right. So they're allowed to do insider trading, although it's now called insider trading. They just pass laws. They just knows what laws are going to be passed. They buy the stocks of these laws that benefit these stocks before these laws are passed. And then her coffers, her investment portfolio grows dramatically for no reason. That's why she has outperformed the S&P 500 by like 10x, 15x, because she knows what's going to happen before it happens. And technically, this is called insider trading. But because she does it through a kind of backdoor way, she does it through her legislative power, it's not necessarily kind of sort of insider trading. It's just nonsense, okay? Please. This is, God.
Everybody trying to start any kind of new banking service because they're trying to protect the big banks. And then this has been happening, by the way, also in legal fields of economic activity that they don't like. And so a lot of this started about 15 years ago with this thing called Operation Choke Point, where they decided to, as marijuana started to become legal, as prostitution started to become legal, and then guns. 2012, like you, guess what? You're doing your business all in cash because you literally can't get a bank account. You can't get a Visa terminal. You can't process transactions. You can't do payroll. You can't do direct deposit. You can't get insurance. Like none of that stuff you've been sanctioned, right? None of that stuff is available. And then this administration extended that concept to apply it to tech founders, crypto founders, and then just generally political opponents.
So you see how they started off with stopping people that are doing marijuana, although marijuana was legal in all these states that they did it, but because they didn't like marijuana, they stopped them. Because a lot of these escort services, and these escort services were in Carson City, I believe, Nevada. They were legal there too, but because they were kind of nefarious, kind of borderline, they did things to stop them. They did these debanking to stop them, which again is probably illegal, but kind of sort of makes sense. They've then decided to expand it in the past 5-6 years to just be for crypto people who are, again, I have to keep repeating this. They're doing everything that they're doing is legal. Everything they're doing is legal, and they're still doing this against them. They're doing this against banks that don't want to necessarily go along with the Democratic Party, even though these banks did everything legal.
So that's been like super pernicious.
I wasn't aware of that.
100%. And this is called, so it's Operation Choke Point 1.0 was 15 years ago against the pot and the guns. Choke Point 2.0 is primarily against their political enemies and then to their disfavored tech startups. And it's hit the tech world. Like we've had like 30 founders debanked in the last 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. It's been a big recurring pattern.
30.
This is one of the reasons why we ended up supporting Trump. It's like we can't live in this world. We can't live in a world where somebody starts a company that's a completely legal thing and then they literally like get sanctioned, right, and embargoed by the United States government through a completely unaccountable, no, by the way, no due process. None of this is written down. There's no rules. There's no court. There's no decision process. There's no appeal. Who do you appeal to, right? Like, who do you go to get your bank account back, right? And then there's also the civil asset forfeiture side of it, which is right the other side, and that doesn't happen to us, but that happens to people in a lot of places now who get arrested, and all of a sudden, the state takes their money.
Yes,
So
which that happens to people if they get pulled over and they have a large amount of cash in some states.
Right, or there've been there's well-publicized examples of there was there'll be some investigation into safe deposit boxes, and the next thing you know, the feds have seized all the contents of the safe deposit.
Right.
So that's the scary part. So after you become debanked, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't do anything wrong. Everything I did was legal. Who do I appeal to? Who do I sue? Who do I go to court against? You cannot do any of those things. There's no due process. There's no law. There's nothing on your side to protect yourself after you have been illegally, incorrectly debanked. So it's just as bad as you riding around with $10,000 of cash in your car. You didn't do anything illegal. Let's say that you won it at a poker tournament. You won it in Las Vegas. You won it at a poker tournament. You have $10,000, $20, $10,000, $20,000 in cash in your hand. If the police comes over and they stop you, they're allowed to capture that. And they're allowed to capture that money and hold it for however long they want to. And they're supposed to give it back to you after they find you not guilty of doing anything wrong. But a lot of times, you start off with $20,000, you end up with, maybe $1,000 because, fuck you, pay me. This is why people have to get involved in politics. I'm going to have to get involved in politics eventually. I'm realizing this now. This is crazy, although I don't really like politics. But I think I'm going to have to do it from more of a lobbyist perspective. And I know lobbyist is a dirty, nasty word that nobody likes. But we're going to have to get into it from a lobbyist perspective because cryptocurrency is that important. Your freedom is that important. Your desire to become rich is that important. I know this channel is designed 100%. I said it from the beginning. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Let's get this money. All I care about is the money. But in order for us to get this money, we need to be able to make sure that we get this money and be able to keep this money. If not, only bad things will happen to us. Okay. By the way, this is why everyone hates 𝐂𝐫𝐲𝐸 because he put so many regulations to stop this. He was helping debanking many legitimate companies that didn't do anything wrong. So thank God. Thank God he's going to be gone.
Safe deposit boxes and that stuff never gets returned. And so it's this, and this is when Trump says the deep state, I like the way we would describe it is it's administrative power. It's political power being administered not through legislation, right? So there's no defined law that covers this. It's not through regulation, right? There's nothing you can't go sue a regulator to fix this. It's not through any kind of court judgment. It's just raw power. It's just raw administrative power. It's the government or politicians just deciding that things are going to be a certain way, and then they just apply pressure until they get it.
So what happens to those 30 tech people that
Start to go into a different field, like try to do something different and try to get
complete upending of your life.
Yeah, complete upending of your life, and try to change your life. Try to get out of try to get away from the eye of Sauron. Try to get out of whatever zone got you into this and keep applying for new bank accounts at different banks and hope that at some point a bank will say, it's okay, we've checked it, it's now all right.
So what do they do with their money? Like what happens?
You go to cash.
You go to cash?
You can't have
so where do you put it?
I don't know, under your mattress. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That is so insane.
Yeah.
It is so insane. Yes, you have to keep your money as cash. You have to keep it in gold. You have to buy pearls and keep it under your mattress. This is pure lunacy. I cannot believe that this is legal. I cannot believe that this is allowed. And I cannot believe that we haven't heard about this either. This is pure insanity. Let me try to fast forward a little bit. I know I'm been bloviating a little bit too much.
We know the politicians involved, and we know how the agencies work, and we know how the pressure's applied, and we know that the banks get phone calls and so forth. And so we can loosely, we understand the flow of power as it happens, but when you're on the receiving end of this, your specific instance of it, you can't trace it back. There's nothing you can do about it.
What are the instances? What is the company? What are they trying to do, and how do they run afoul?
Well, all the crypto startups in the last, basically, 4 years. So remember the crypto thing got really, sort of everybody got excited and NFTs and all that stuff, and then it just stopped.
Yeah.
And the reason it stopped is because basically every crypto founder, every crypto startup, they either got debanked personally and forced out of the industry, or their company got debanked and so it couldn't keep operating, or they got prosecuted, charged, or they got threatened with being charged. This is a fun twist. This is a fun little twist. The SEC sort of has been trying to kill the crypto industry.
So the conclusion of this is that you need to pay your taxes. You need to do everything right. You're into crypto. We're going to be making life-changing amount of money, and people are jealous of this, so they're going to attack you. So you need to do everything right. You need to follow the exact rules, and there's no other way around this. This is the only thing. You have to have your own keys. Do not keep your cryptocurrency in the exchanges. Only use the exchanges to buy and sell your crypto, and then quickly move it into your own MetaMask, quickly move it into your own Ledger wallet, okay? Because although Trump is coming through and is going to make things better, let's say that maybe 4 years from now, a Democrat will come through and have power again. Or maybe let's say another Republican will come through and do the same exact thing that Elizabeth Warren is doing. We don't know what's going to happen. So you need to have your own power. But this is still so wild.
Under Biden, and this has been a big issue for us because we're the biggest crypto startup investor. The SEC can investigate you, they can subpoena you, they can prosecute you, they can do all these things, but they don't have to do any of those things to really damage you. All they have to do is they issue what's called a Wells notice, and the Wells notice is a crypto startup investor. The SEC can investigate you, they can subpoena you, they can prosecute you, they can do all these things, but they don't have to do any of those things to really damage you. All they have to do is they issue what's called a Wells notice, and the Wells notice is a notification that you may be charged at some point in the future. Like you're like on notice that you might be doing something wrong, and they might be coming after you at some point in the future.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, so all they have to do is just scare you. They don't even have to actually charge you with anything or with any evidence at all. They just have to scare you and stop you that way. Crazy.
Initiatives and
Well, and then the SEC under Biden became a direct application of exactly. So DEI, they did a lot with that, and then ESG, all the ESG stuff. And ESG is a very malleable concept, and they piled all kinds of new requirements into that. So through this process, the SEC could basically just simply dictate what companies do, with no accountability at all. Like there are hearings where they get yelled at, but like nothing changed, nothing ever happened.
Yeah, so the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Okay, so at first it started with ESG to give more ability, more freedom, more chances to people that are black, to people that are gay, to give more chances to women that are discriminated against. It's helped them to become better. But now we know that through ESG, and I guess more recently now through DEI, it's now become racist, right? Or sexist. But now it's sexist and racist against men, racist against white people. Again, I'm not saying white people are perfect, blah, blah, blah. They've done terrible things in the past. But, nobody that owns slaves, and no one that has been a slave ever. So, blah, 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 blah. Making people suffer for the sins of their fathers is lunacy and is stupid. Okay. But now they're using something that's good to be something that is evil. Okay. So this is wild. Okay. I'm going to finish it too.
Hearing never changed anything. It was just the raw application of power. Right. And so
this is your friends. This has happened to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we had, like I said, we had an employee who got debanked because he had crypto in his job title. He was doing crypto policy for us, and his bank booted him because he.
That's it.
Because they did a screen across. That's what they told us, is they did a screen across their customer base.
Yeah. So I plan on growing my crypto power, and so do you, because you're smart and you're watching this channel. Good job. If I start a business, I already started a business. I already have an LLC with this. BitcoinBenito.com. Go to that website. Woo. If it becomes powerful, I'm going to have to hire a lawyer to avoid this. I've never done anything illegal. I've never done anything wrong. YouTube algorithm, if you're watching this, I never did anything wrong. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm right here practicing my First Amendment right. I know you're a private company, so you can ban me at any time, but I haven't done anything to go against the YouTube algorithm rules. But I still have to protect myself, because when people see you do great things, they become jealous of you, okay? So this is really scary. Protect yourself at all times. Get a wallet. Don't tell anyone your seed phrase. Make sure that you sell your crypto at the right time, August, September, October of next year. Invest into crypto as much as you can. Invest into crypto every single paycheck. Pay your taxes. Don't try to avoid your taxes. Pay your taxes. Do not give them a reason to take your money, because they're looking for every reason to take your money away from you. I know that Trump is coming through, and he has a lot of power, and he's going to help with the deregulation of this. But it doesn't mean that Democrats are still not going to have power. It doesn't mean that Democrats are still not going to be able to take your money away from you. There might even be some people in the Republican Party that will want to take your money away from you. You must protect yourself at all times. And I am telling you this because I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Let's get this money. Man, oh man.